Okay, so just settling in, and we'll take 3 Oms just to begin the class. Just bringing the palms of the hands together. Feeling your sit bones rooting into the earth, spine lengthening. The thumbs drawing in towards the heart and slightly up. There's this energetic connection. Shoulder blades relax down your back. And feeling your inhalation and your exhalation. Now we'll take 3 Oms. So exhaling all the breath. Inhaling, together we rise. Just bowing your head to your fingertips, feeling the length through the back of your neck as you lift your heart, and gently opening the eyes. So we're going to start in butterfly. So soles of the feet together. You can either stay up on a block or grab a blanket to sit on or be flat on the ground. The important thing is that the length of the block, that's how far away you have your heels. So it's the feet are quite far away from you. Okay. Make sure that the heels match each other so that you know that your pelvis is level. And then in the yin practice, remember that there's an allowance for things to be soft. So we don't necessarily need to really use the muscles to elevate the spine. There is a sense of growing or spaciousness, especially on the front line of the body in this pose. But there's not an engagement of the muscles to try and really use force. So this is a yielding practice, an encouraging practice from a place of softness. And as we settle into this shape, just allowing the chin to drop down towards the heart. So feeling again the sense of the back of the neck, the back of the shoulders, feeling them drawing down towards the base of your spine. And you're traveling in towards the inner realms. We're looking at our proprioception, which is our muscles, ligaments, soft tissue, the bones of the body. So we're feeling how things expand and move, how the body is in space, as in the feedback from the earth to help to encourage, or the feedback of props. But we're also traveling in a little deeper and noticing the realm of the nervous system. Here's a little reading for you as you just notice different elements of your body gradually unfolding in this shape. Within young leaves, wrapped within young leaves, sound of water. This delicate observation by a Japanese poet is filled with the quiet hope that is embedded in our nature. Even as we begin, is our gift already unfolded? Embedded in seed is the blossom. Embedded in the womb is the child fully grown. Embedded in the impulse to care is the peace of love realized. Embedded in the edge of risk and fear is the authenticity that makes life worth living. So I'm going to bring slow head circles into the shape now. So gradually rolling the head across the back of the shoulders, one ear to one shoulder, dropping the chin back down towards the heart. So you're exploring the rotation of your skull on top of your neck and the different muscles that help to hold the skull on top of the tiny vertebrae at the top of the neck, top of the spine. Maybe when you've done about 3 or 4, you're going to pause and then start to work back in the opposite direction. Wrapped within young leaves is the sound of water that will nourish them once they have opened. It's already there, prompting them to unfold and grow. To believe that this is possible requires a faith in currents larger than one mind can envision. But that is not such a difficult thing to accept, for as dust owes its path to wind, we as human beings are asked to acknowledge that something larger encircles us and prompts us to unfold. There is a gravity of spirit that pulls the essence of who we are into being. Our job, like all our sister creatures, is to find the abundance of air and water and light, and to unfold what is already within us. And just allowing the chin to rest down, and then feeling the heaviness of the head. So it's almost as if you were curling in to look at that seed formation within you. So just allowing from the top of the spine just to curl down. Noticing as you travel down through each segment of your spine, where feels slightly easier, more fluid, where feels more stuck. And you're just going as low as you're able to go without any effort involved. When you get to your furthest place, just resting there. It's like you're encouraging your gaze to travel right into the very center of yourself. And gently releasing. So you're going to slowly coil up. And then just straighten the legs out. You might want to bring your hands back behind you. Lean back on the hands, open the legs a little, and just swish the legs a little from side to side. And then we're going to come down onto backs. If you've got a, you might need that, okay, or something similar. Otherwise, you can just use your hand. Okay, then coming down onto the back. And you're taking your right ankle across your left knee. Okay. And then you're reaching through behind the calf, thigh, and drawing that leg in. But at the same time, encouraging the other knee to draw out. So you can also use a strap if you can't quite reach behind the thigh, then use a strap to hold on to. You want to keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. And just allowing yourself to explore the right hip joint. So I'm just going to come up for a moment. So the practice that we're doing this evening is an honouring of spring, since the growth has been so amazing in the forest and it's so noticeable. And in the Chinese sort of Yin system, Chinese medicine, spring equates to wood energy. So this is like a really fast, expansive energy, which we can feel in nature at the moment. You know, you can see things suddenly blooming or leaves unfurling so quickly. So in one way, this time that we're in is about renewal, regrowth, expansion. They lie down. You might want to circle through the left ankle. But it can feel a bit destabilizing too. And one of the negative aspects of this energy can be a sense of anger and frustration, maybe circling the opposite direction. when it's out of balance. There can be too much wild energy, and we can feel stuck, like we want things to move, to progress, to move as quickly as nature. And of course, in this place that we all find ourselves at the moment, it's very hard to put plans together for the future, the immediate future, because we don't know quite when the immediate future is going to happen, as it were. Keep encouraging the left knee to draw towards you and the right knee to draw away from you. And the last minute, you can extend the opposite. You can extend the left leg up, still holding on behind the back of the thigh, or you can bring your hands to behind the calf and draw that in closer towards you if you've got a little bit more flexibility. You're trying to keep an equal balance on the back of the pelvis. This one, come and have a look. So what the practice we're going to do this evening, what we're starting to do is to bring about more balance with this sort of super fast rising energy. So we start to cultivate more of a sense of control, of tolerance, of forgiveness, of generosity, of being. And slowly release and just place both feet on the ground. And you might want to briefly just take the feet to the edge of the mat, keeping the knees bent, open the arms wide, and then just drop the knees from one side to the other with your breath, and just turning the head to look away from the knees. You're inhaling to center, exhaling to the side, inhaling to center, exhaling over. Bringing a little bit of fluidity into the hip joint. Because this nice massaging action of turning the head on the neck and the upper part of your shoulders. And slowly releasing, bringing yourself centrally on your mat again, and then lifting the left leg up, and you're going to bend the knee and place the left ankle across the top of the knee, right knee, and then reaching through to hold on behind the right thigh. You're encouraging the left knee to draw away from you as you draw the right knee towards you. But again, being aware of balance. So balance on the back of the pelvis. And remember in this practice that you're finding where your edge is, and you're backing away from that and allowing your body to release towards your edge, rather than your mind demanding that the body go closer. And you might want to circle through the left ankle. And really noticing kind of what, if you're sort of turning the foot, kind of what that actually feels like, rather than just doing a mechanical action. The word energy helps us to cultivate plans, new ideas, making decisions about the future. It's like cultivating what seeds you wish to plant. So although in some ways the fast energy at the moment is counter to where we're at within this situation that we find ourselves in, it's almost akin to more what should have happened in the winter months, being more still, being quiet, being inward looking, inward drawn. So it can feel a bit counter to what's happening with nature. But on the other hand, there's this amazing space that we have at the moment, which can help ideas to germinate. The plans to come forth and to work out how to actually manifest things when the moment happens that we can. And releasing. And again, just taking the feet to the edge of your mat, opening the arms, and then just dropping the knees to one side as you exhale and look away from the knees. Inhale slowly up and exhale to the opposite side. You're just oscillating from one side to the other. And then gently releasing. And we're going to make our way up into sitting. And coming into half shoelace. So you're going to stretch those legs out away from you. And again, if you need a block, or you might need bricks or blankets or things, so you can sit on a block or a blanket. If you find that your hamstrings are quite tight and you need some extra help, elevate the hips. And you're going to bend, keep the right leg stretched out. You're going to bend the left knee, drawing in. You're going to place the ankle, the knee right across. And you're crossing, I shouldn't have worn the leggings. You're crossing right above the knee. So my knee is here, you're crossing above it. So if I were to bend, that's what it looks like, yeah? So you might find that your knee ends up being stuck up in the air like this, which is that's fine. You can always use something to sort of hold it there so it feels more comfortable. Okay. And then just bringing the hand out to either side of the body. I'm going to lift the left arm up. You're going to gently take yourself over to the right. So with the Yin practice, in the Chinese system, they work a lot with the organs of the body, which the Hatha practice does too, but it's not mentioned so much. So in spring, the organs that have more energy available to them are the liver and the gallbladder. So the liver helps to cleanse. It encourages fluidity of movement of the blood. So it cleanses and distributes the energy where it's needed. So in a way, it's like the army general of the body, directing the flow of prana energy. If you find the arm gets tired, you can just allow it to drape down over the ear, by the ear. And just allow yourself to expand on this left side of the body. So it's in a way, the poses that we're doing are encouraging the liver to function. So that it becomes super efficient. Maybe you're bringing your awareness to the back line of the body. With not only the side, but also the back of the body on that left side. And not just the external, but the internal. You're aware of how your breathing is, which is an indicator as to any possible emotional or psychological changes that are happening. And releasing. And just straightening out those legs. You might want to swish a little bit before we move into the opposite side. So then you're keeping the left leg out, and you're bringing the right knee right across. There's a sense of containment around the outer hips. Remember, the leg is up more. You might want to stuff something under here to help support. And then bringing the hands out to the side of the body. And lifting up through the right arm. And now drawing yourself over towards the left. Exploring the inner realm. Not just your breathing, but perhaps noticing any emotional state and how that manifests, how it shows up in your body. Noticing sensations within the body as well as on the surface level. So for instance, if you were feeling a sense of frustration, how would that show itself in your body? What would happen within the body, not just the mind? Where would it be located? How would it feel? Remember, you can allow the arm just to rest on top of the head if your arm gets tired. Not just the side body, it's also the back of the body, it's the hip joints, the shoulder, both shoulders perhaps, the neck. Last minute coming up. And how much you can yield into this shape. We're not collapsing, we're yielding. And slowly releasing. You can straighten both legs out. Maybe windscreen wipers, just squishing the legs from side to side as you lean back on your hands. And then we're going to come into full shoelace. So you're going to take your, let's see, your left knee underneath, right knee on top. So now we're stacking one knee on top of the other. Okay. You might find that you're more like this, which is fine. If it's difficult to have both knees stacked one on top of the other, you can come back into the shape we were just in. So with one leg extended and the other leg on top. Okay. Yeah, you can use a brick. You can use something to sit on. So a block, brick, blanket, it might help to elevate, which makes it a little bit easier. Or you might find if this is stuck up like this, you can have, you can balance something underneath. So seeing what you can do to prop or even a blanket, some description might help. So you want to feel like you're able to hold this. Okay. We'll only do a 3-minute hold on this. Okay. And then from here, you can stay upright. If you are managing to get one knee stacked on top of the other, you're looking at trying to get the heels as level with each other as you can. There's a sense of not collapsing. So we're yielding through the hips, but then there's that almost like spring energy that is helping us to lengthen. Think of the underneath of the body expanding, but then we're going to actually come forwards. So this is quite strong on the hips. You're only going to go as far as you're able to. You might end up just sitting up, which is fine. Okay. And try not to just bend the head, but nothing else is happening. So think of like a gentle curve through the spine. If I were to sit like this and just drop my head, as opposed to for a bit like that, as opposed to kind of trying to even out the curves. When the yin poses get a little bit more challenging, this is where sometimes the more negative parts of our psyche can come bubbling up under the surface. There can be a sense of frustration or anger or boredom. So anger has many different subsets to it. mild irritation, so really noticing thoughts that flit across the screen of the mind. And gently coming up. And then I'm going to come into the opposite. So just stretch the legs out. And again, you might want to just flip from side to side or give a little bit of a massage down the legs before we work our way into the opposite side. So then again, just taking a moment to set up with whatever you may need. If the knees step up a little bit, you may wish to put something underneath to support. You may want to be up higher on this side. So just seeing what you need to do for yourself. And then finding this sense of an expanding spine, but it's not that you're using the muscles to elevate and be really stiff in that. It's a sort of gentle unfolding. And then just gently coming forwards. You're rounding through the back, rounding through the spine, and a gentle undulation as far as you're able to go. And slowly releasing. And then straightening the legs out. Again, swishing the legs from side to side. And then we're just going to do a little bit of work with the toes and the fronts of the feet, because if you think of if the liver also governs our flexibility through our tendons, through our muscles, which then helps to give us a sense of fluidity through movement. So just tucking the toes under, you may want support, so you can grab a couple of bricks, okay, in order to push into it, to help support you. The further forwards you are, the less intense it is on the toes, because we're going to hold for, we'll do a minute, I'll be kind this evening. Also, placing a blanket or cushion or something under the knees can also take a little bit of pressure off of the toes. So your choice as to what you want to do. So I was looking, I've got this book of human emotions. I thought this was the one that had the little graph, which had all the different subsets of anger, which is quite interesting, but it wasn't this book. It was a different one. But this one does list a couple. So under anger comes apathy, which is quite interesting. Also resentment, exasperation, rage, indignation. So there's many different, we think of just anger as being sort of more like in the way of rage, but there's many, many different subsets to it. Okay, and slowly release. If you're interested in that sort of thing, you can look up online, there's like websites which kind of like give a little graph with, because there's only five or seven, I can't remember, major emotions, and then all the other emotions are all subsets. So it's really, I find it quite fascinating. Okay, from here, you're just going to kneel, and then we're going to flex the fronts of the feet. So we're just going to lift the knees up. Again, you might want to support with a cushion or a blanket underneath to help. Okay. For some of you, you might be quite flexible here, that you can lift the knees quite high. You might end up down on elbows, or that might be a little bit too much. Moving hands onto bricks, leaning back. So 1 minute. So the reason why it's interesting to know about the subsets is when working in the yin practice, because we spend time in each pose, there's time to notice things that bubble up. Whether it's thoughts, pictures, sensations, emotions. And releasing. And then we're coming to frog's pose, which is like a really wide child's pose. So you're taking your feet almost to the edge of your mat and your knees, okay? And then sinking the sit bones back. Okay? If you have a bolster, this is quite nice to do on a bolster. So if you have got one of these, grab that. You're trying to root the sit bones down, and then you're lengthening along bolster or blanket of some sort, which you could perhaps concertina up. You give a little height, which you can then release down onto, or using a brick, you can just rest your head on and just rest the arms out, rest down onto the elbows. So this is going to be a 5-minute hold. And remember, you're noticing where your edge is. So it might be that your the knees are slightly closer to begin with, and then gradually over time, you can expand them out. And you're looking at what is your relationship with your hip joints, the inner groins, the orientation of your pelvis. What happens if you take your base of your pelvis towards your heels a little bit more? So the sit bones are drawing towards the end of your mat. Your pubic bone drawing up towards your heart. And then is there an allowance for your heart or your solar plexus to release towards the earth a little bit more, or onto the support that you're resting on? And then travel inwardly. the last minute coming up, so seeing whether you want to deepen in a little bit more or slightly back out, or just stay exactly where you are. So you're going to slowly start to maneuver up. And then you might want to briefly just push back into downward dog and just move through the legs a little. So the next pose is firebox, so there's two options. One is that you place, like we do it in the hazard class, you're placing the shin parallel to the front of your mat and placing 1 foot under each knee. So simple cross-legged position. And then you can either stay upright in this, or you can gradually come forwards. You can bring your hands onto bricks, or you can support your head in this. Okay, so this is one option. This is the easier one. The other one, which is a little bit more extreme, is that you're going to, as much as you're able to, bring the underneath shin parallel to the front of your mat, and then you're stacking one shin on top of the other. It's like double pigeon. And again, if there's, if this is lifted up quite a bit, I mean, if it's sort of like this, I would just have the legs crossed. But if it's somewhere around here, use a block to support, or a brick, or a blanket, which will help support that leg. Okay. We're holding for 3 minutes, which will give you plenty of time to soften. And this increases in intensity the longer you stay in it. It's plenty of time to monitor thoughts and emotions. So you might want to start upright. You might eventually want to start to meander forwards. Then, like I said, it is quite extreme. You're coming forwards, you can place something to rest your head on. And in this shape, there's definitely an aspect of yielding, of surrendering. without force, like an allowance to soften. The other organ that we're targeting here is the gallbladder, which helps to metabolize fats on a physical level. Mentally, it helps us to make decisions and have wise judgment. So if you think of the liver as the general directing the flow of energy around the body, it has the plan of what it wants to achieve. The gallbladder makes that happen. It helps to organize and coordinate and carry out the expression of whatever needs to happen to manifest the goal. So the two work together really well. And slowly release. And you might want to just give a little bit of a massage. And then opposite side. And there might be a marked difference between one side and the other. So remember, it's either one shin stacked on top of the other, or you're putting one foot further forwards than the other. So the legs are parallel to one another. And again, it's a 3-minute hold. You're either staying upright or you're gradually moving towards coming forwards in this. But it does take time to release. So from a point of view of the liver and the gallbladder, if the liver is functioning really well, but the gallbladder is not, then we have kind of plans and ideas, but no means to put them into action. If it's the opposite way, there's a sense of being able to be organized, to coordinate things, but there's no creativity. There's no seeds to express. and releasing. I think we will finish with, before coming into our interrupt. If you have a block or a bolster or cushion, I'm just sitting to, I'll show you this around. Sitting to one side of the bolster. So you've got feet on one side, knees on the other. And if you're not sitting on the bolster, you're sitting on a block or two, depending on what you need. I'm going to try and drop down to the outer hip. So the hips are balanced and level. And then you're turning towards, away from the feet and taking one hand behind you and the other hand to the side of the thigh, finding a sense of length through the spine. And there's a gradual turning, so each inhalation encourages growth. Each exhalation encourages more coordination, more organization. Or a pause to reflect. The inhale lengthens, grows, expands the spine. The exhale, as you start to turn and get a different perspective. And gently releasing. And then coming to the opposite side. Again, try to drop down through the hip that's next to the feet, trying to drop down through that hip. Spine is long, and then just bringing one hand across the thigh, the other hand behind you. Inhale, encouraging the spine to grow, to expand as you exhale to turn. There's a softness We're not forcing in any way. It's an encouragement and a sense of yielding. And releasing. Okay. So time for Shavasana and our Yoga Nidra. So setting yourself up as comfortably as you can. Maybe having something underneath the head, block, cushion, blanket, making sure that you're warm. So taking the last few moments to make last minute adjustments. Making sure the shoulders are down the back, away from the ears. Bringing your awareness to your inhalation and exhalation. The inhale, the gentle rise of the abdomen as you exhale, a gentle fall of the abdomen. And gradually refining your breathing to become smooth. So noticing where there are slightly jagged, rough edges. And looking to smooth the inhalation to the exhalation to the inhalation. The practice of Yoga Nidra allows the mind to rest, the body to rest, and consciousness to stay alert. Just repeating to yourself that you are practicing Yoga Nidra. I am practicing Yoga Nidra. I am practicing Yoga Nidra. I'm making a commitment to stay conscious. Bringing your awareness to the midbrain and sensing a point of light in the center of your midbrain. So trying just deep relaxation, the sense of seeing a point of light in the midbrain. Taking your awareness now to the center of your throat, again noticing, picturing a bright point of light, white light at the center of your throat. Awareness to the center of your right shoulder, point of light. Center of your right elbow, white light, like starlight. Center of your right wrist. Points of light like little stars, tip of your thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. Point of starlight, center of your right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder. You're trying just relaxation. Sensing point of starlight at the center of your throat, and the center of your left shoulder. Points of light, center of your left elbow and left wrist. Trail of stars, tip of your left thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. Point of light at the center of your left wrist, left elbow and left shoulder. Point of light at the center of your throat, the center of your heart, bright starlight. Point of light, center of your left breast, center of your heart, bright point of light, center of your right chest, breast, and center of your heart. Point of light at the navel, bright starlight at the center of your pelvis, bright point of light, center of your right hip. Points of starlight, center of your right knee, right ankle, trail of stars, tip of your right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. Point of light at the center of your right ankle, right knee, right hip. Point of light, center of your pelvis, and center of your left hip. No trying, just relaxation. Taking your consciousness to your left knee, point of light, left ankle, point of light, trail of stars, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, point of light, left ankle, left knee, left hip, bright starlight, center of your pelvis, just behind the navel towards the spine. Right star at the center of your heart, center of your throat, and in between the eyebrows back to the midbrain, point of starlight. Sensing, seeing all these points of light at once. As if you were a constellation of stars. Then becoming aware of the space in between the stars. The dark space in between the points of light. Sensing or seeing the space is expansive. Opens the furthest reaches of the universe, beyond the space in between the points of light. No effort, no trying, just deep relaxation. Starting to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back. Feeling your breath moving within your body. Your body is settled on the earth. A poem for you from Donna Coles. So you gently come back. This is called Flower Seed. When is it safe to sow these flower seeds? So minuscule, like grains of sand, each sheltering a future burst of light, and hues so different from one another, like fireworks on the 4th of July, waiting for the fuses to be lit. The package commands, plant only when the danger of frost is past. When exactly is that? Bringing gentle movement of fingers to toes, to wrists and ankles. Bending one knee then the other. Gathering the knees in towards you. Just rocking gently from side to side. And allowing yourself to roll onto your left side. And gradually making your way up into sitting. Just taking a moment to offer deep gratitude to your body for your practice. And offering a sense of love and compassion for yourselves. Thank you very much. Namaste.